And now, it's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go. Roger.
And with the coach, Mickey Clayton on INSiiGHTS. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
As usual.
As usual. Well, hello, everybody. I got with me today the legendary Dr. Elaine Bryant.
Yes, glad to be here.
We glad to have you. You know, we watch you wear so many hats, doing so many things in service to the community. I don't know, Doc, in the time I've known you, if you've done anything much more important than heading this COVID-19 task force and all that entails in terms of saving people's life. How'd you get involved with that?
You know, Coach, the real deal is that my pastor, Dr. R.B. Holmes Jr., actually saw a need for the community to come together around the cause, because the statistics have been really alarming, and the disproportionate outreach to people of color, and then the disproportionate number of people who are dying from COVID-19. So he actually asked if I would come on and kind of manage this project, as obviously he is the chair and organizer of this task force. And I could not think of, I was fairly busy before I started this process, but I'll be honest, this is probably, if I had to look at what's important, this is probably one of the most important things that I have been asked to do and challenged to do. So it's a calling right now for me, since I have been asked to provide, I'll put the legs on what we're doing with this COVID-19 task force. You know that the biggest challenge is that, especially in communities of color, that from a historical perspective, whether it's a systemic food deserts, systemic lack of opportunity for employment, systemic racism, systemic food deserts, and that I could go on and on, systemic lack of health care, that we find ourselves in positions where going to get this shot is not something that's high on the list of things to do, in spite of the fact that many people are dying, and disproportionately people of color. So I am extremely committed to this cause.
Well, what do you say to those people who actually fear the government giving them the vaccine, much like they did in Tuskegee and any other, what they think is logical thinking, not to take this vaccine? What do you say to them? Because I know you've been challenged in trying to convince members in our community to go ahead and get this vaccine for their own health.
I am simply delighted that Freshman has come to fruition after years in the making. The novel started as Coach Clayton's heartfelt wish to bring to life in print the fictitious story of 2 young men coming of age in the 1970s. I always thought Freshman should be a book when I first learned about the 2 young men faced with all kinds of challenges at a fictitious HBCU. Mark and Charles were 2 opposite sides of being 2 peas in a pod. Charles was the hype man to Mark's more serious and at times goody-goody ways. And then there was Gloria, a little brazen hussy on steroids. She demonstrated why Danielle was the kind of young sister Mark needed to take a second look at. I'm delighted to have learned about all the members of Freshman's quirky cast of characters when Coach Clayton thought he needed to bring them to life on the printed page. Kudos, Coach Clayton.
The message has to be, first of all, that the science in and of itself is speaking for itself, in that people who actually take the vaccine, for the most part, and I won't say 100%, obviously, because people have pre-existing conditions and all other kinds of variables that may in fact impact that shot when they actually get it into their bodies. But for the vaccine itself, on its own merit, people have not gone back to the hospital, and people are not dying that have taken the vaccine from COVID-19. I'm not saying that people aren't dying, period. Obviously, we're here to live and die. So, but not from this virus. It's the virus itself is what we're calling really the beast, that we must actually try and slay the beast, if you want to use that as a term. But we do that by actually taking this vaccine. So I say to people, really, and it goes back to my faith, really, because any good and perfect gift is from above. And we see that the results of taking the vaccine is good. So I have to believe in my own spirit that if it's good and it's working, that irrespective of our historical lens, which in reality does not align with our current situation, but we have to study to know that. I challenge people to read and study so that you know that
it doesn't align with our current situation.
No, it does not. It does not. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. So I can say to them, I can't make anybody, but I want you to be informed so you can make an informed decision, because that's the key. Knowledge, and then those people that we trust, what we call trusted voices. Trusted voices, people that you, in fact, have taken the shot and they're still here. They don't have two heads or two arms or all these other myths, because that's what they are, versus fact. Then hopefully people will see that and actually go ahead and take the vaccine.
Well, let me testify. I've had both doses and got the second shot probably 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Good.
And let me speak from the Mickey Clayton perspective.
Absolutely.
I came to the realization that actually I had almost put myself in a state of depression for me, in terms of the things that I normally do and did not do them for a year.
Right.
And what the toll is that it takes on you and how you perceive and do certain things. And I'm a guy now who I've always liked to stay busy, but I took up golf in July because it was an outdoor activity. And
Right.
I didn't trust myself in the gym lifting or any other thing like that. So I've learned how to, I've spent time at golf. I can't say I've learned much because I'm still hitting it all across the neighborhood at Gaither Park, and people saying, "Coach Clayton, you need to, aren't you supposed to be on the other side of that fence over there? You over here getting the ball?"
Oh my.
But it has relaxed me. This is what I'm getting to, is that I have been so much more relaxed after taking it, and have gotten kind of my old spirit back in terms of doing things and active doing things and looking at life a whole lot better, because I think now that it's not really, I don't perceive it as apocalypse coming. And I still put my mask on, sometimes double mask, I'm still not sitting down in restaurants, and that, but I'm able to do things and I'm feeling better. And even the second shot, that's the worst shot. And I think my wife had her second one. She said, "Well, my arm hurts when I do it like this." I said, "Well, don't do it like this then. Put your arm down and you'll be fine." And after that, we both just kind of, have just a sense of relaxation and comfort that you actually have the test, and people all over the country trying to get the test and can't get it.
Right. That your testimony is that of many people. And we don't talk about it much. We talk about the physical health ramifications of COVID, but the mental health and emotional health of all people really is being challenged during this COVID-19 pandemic, because many people not only have shut themselves into a house, some afraid to come out, but they have also shut off their contact with people. And we as human beings are made to interact with other human beings. So when you put all that together, you are the most healthiest of people will be challenged in reality with being shut in and not having that external contact, or the contact of just our spouse or just our children, especially if we are used to having so much more. So that mental health and emotional health piece is just as critical. So that the downside of that really is that, so when we get opportunity to get out, unfortunately, many people are not wearing their masks. Many people are not doing social distancing. And many people are just thinking that we're back to, we have reached this area of herd immunity at 70%. Well, we're not there yet. Not only that, the percentages for African Americans actually taking the shots is still extremely low. I don't know what it is today, but last week it was in single digits. So when you compare that to others who have taken both shots, or at least one shot, we have a ways to go.
Well, tell me, Doc, what is it that you being over the task force, what does that mean? What is it that you're trying?
Well, let me tell you some of the things that we've done. Last Thursday, we had a town hall where we invited faith-based leaders, because a faith-based pastor or rabbi or whomever is a trusted voice. Their congregants trust them. So we wanted them to be informed, because once they make a statement, it becomes the gospel, so to speak. So we did a town hall, and we had about 50 some participants, which was excellent, because it was a closed community. We didn't want everybody on, and we wanted pastors to feel comfortable asking questions. We had the medical experts on, and the faith-based persons kind of paired together to have the conversation. And that was awesome. I mean, we were extremely pleased with that. Now, what we have done starting this week, well, really it started last Saturday. We are partnering with different groups in the community to actually visit their events where people are comfortable coming to a pancake breakfast or this or that that's held directly in a community. And we have a whole lot of material, as well as our voices regarding encouraging people to become educated and to take the vaccine. We will be having a pop-up vaccine site this Saturday over on the parking lot of New Mount Zion, over on Old Bainbridge. And we have, when we identify a site, the idea is this: go into the site, into the area around the site rather, and canvas, pass out literature, answer questions. And you can't do it one time, because one time doesn't work. You got to repeat it and repeat it. So all this week, at least 2 or 3 times this week, we hope to go out again to those same homes and further expand, such that when Saturday gets here, for people who can walk or drive, both opportunities will be available to come and get your shot. I just believe that if we can have outreach, we got a better chance of people actually believing and taking the vaccine.
Well, as you move along, please let us know where you're going and where you're doing these things at, so that we can also help from our social media outlets to let people know. And I
Oh, great.
think that the more voices that we get to inform people, the better.
Absolutely.
You know, we know about New Mount Zion. That's Pastor Elwood. That's my church home.
I know.
So
I know.
we're glad of that, and I think that for you as a former city commissioner to come into this and still serve and to do it in a way that this is volunteer service. I mean, this you put a lot of time and effort into this to help the people and the citizens of our county, and we appreciate that, Dr. Bryant.
Well, look, you know what has happened, and I have been volunteering since last year, since December, November, whenever, in terms of this task force. But Leon County, to their credit, have actually come on board and said that they are going to provide financial support. So that has enabled us to actually bring in people who will do canvassing and from the community and be able to pay them a little stipend to go out in the community and encourage them. We have some, we're going to do some things with churches and encourage them and provide some kind of financial support to them. So we now have a staff and we are actually, and that's kind of how the Lord works. You put in your part and just wait on him. He'll do the rest. So when you said I was doing it volunteer, I was, but maybe now I'll give $1.
But one thing I know about you, and that's your faith and belief in that person who makes the decisions. And
yes,
he has always been there to help guide you in what you've done, as he does all of us. But a lot of people don't really aware that that's where that is coming from. It's not of their own doing that those blessings come.
absolutely.
And I'm really glad that you're able to do this, and that you've agreed to come here on Insights and use us. And we wanted to be a vehicle. I mean, that's why you and I have talked many times about the purpose of Insights and being able to have a medium in a form that we can reach our people and let them know many stories that are out there that needs to be told. And I don't think there's many out there now that's more significant than COVID-19, and trying to get our people educated and get them involved,
Yes.
so they take care of themselves and protect themselves and their families.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And in fact, Mickey, I'm really grateful. I know the focus of your ministry through Insights, which many people may think does not align with what we're talking about today. But I would suggest to every listener that it is a direct alignment, because unless we actually can come together and coalesce around this whole idea of being safe and beating this virus, sports has already been impacted. I mean, we've seen that in every sport that exists that has been challenged through this process. And then we also have loved ones who are no longer with us because of COVID-19. So every medium that exists, in my mind, is directly impacted. So I so appreciate the opportunity to come on with you today and to share and to challenge really our people to get your vaccine, become educated, ask questions, get all your questions answered, and then make an informed decision as to if you should take the vaccine or not. And I'm hopeful that you will.
It doesn't have to be a high upscale hotel.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't have to.
Yes,
no, it doesn't, Coach.
Why? Why? Because this is March Madness. It's the
Okay.
cream of the crop. It's not a normal game where you're going to play somebody. This is the March Madness, a once in a lifetime experience. They get
That's
more
right.
money from the NCAA to feed these kids for this game than what the schools generally give them. So they ought to be able to eat well. It ought to be a situation where we don't have to sit there and say, you got a $21 food limit. We got to stay within the limit. $5 for breakfast, $6 for lunch, and $10 for dinner. The guys and girls who are playing in March Madness should be able to go to places to eat that they may never get a chance to go to.
And they don't care. All they want to do is hoop and win. All that experience stuff is nice. It is nice. I mean, it is wonderful. I mean, yeah, I guess some football teams in the BCS got PlayStations and all of that kind of stuff. Whoop-dee-doo.
But
they didn't even have to get that. As long as they played the game, all they care about is playing, coach. Come on now. You played the game. Did you care about the goodies? Yes. You like the goodies, but did you care about it? Come on, coach.
I cared about where I ate, and each team I had cared about where they ate. And when we went to the NCAA tournament, played Duke and Charlotte, thank you, the guys cared about where they ate. I'm telling you what I know. It's not okay. I'm telling you what I know.
Okay.
I hadn't really made up my mind that I was going to take it when I was getting a number of phone calls on the family thread about if mom and dad had decided to take it. And my daughters were on Barbara and I about it. And that same day, how God works, I get a phone call from the doctor's office saying, don't you want to come take your shot? I'm like, everybody all over the country trying to get a shot, and they've called and asked me to come get one. I figured that was about as good a sign as I needed to get. So I said, yes, that right there. I'm going right there today. What time I need to come? So
there you go.
We hope that everybody's kind of listening and listening to the words of Dr. Elaine Bryant, chairman of the COVID-19 task force. And we appreciate her taking her time to be able to be with us and doing what she does. I mean, that's what she does. She helps, she gives back to the community, and I don't think she knows any other way to do than to be that. So
absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to say in closing, Doc, before we wrap
up?
No,
I again just want to thank you for inviting me and having the opportunity to share with your community that listens to your show. And we'll be calling on you because we want you to come out and probably do a show through a live event.
All you have to do is let me know what you need, Doc, and I'm there. I mean, just tell me when and where, and I'm there,
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more. And everybody who got it straight from the horse's mouth, from the original, from the legend, community involved, Dr. Elaine Bryant, COVID-19 task force. We appreciate you, and thanks a lot, Doc. And when you need me, call me. I'll be there, and the insights will be there.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Doc, that didn't take long, and I appreciate you so much.
From INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSiiGHTS.com.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.